Good evening to you. I'm Mark Allen.
And good evening. I'm Katie Ushin. 9/11 remembered. Today, flags flew at half-staff across the Miami Valley in honor of the lives lost during those terrorist attacks. Most people can recall the events of that day like it was yesterday. And in Fairborn, Jordan Burgess shows us how a new monument will make sure generations to come never forget. He's live with our top story.
Well, just something about this day makes us want to share where we were 11 years ago and how we felt about what happened. Now those in Fairborn have a place to reflect and remember not simply the events of that day, but just as importantly, what happened afterward.
We shall never forget. We shall keep this day.
For police officer Brian Carlson, what he remembers most about September 11th isn't the tragedy of it all, but the triumph.
The biggest thing for me was the impact of how afterwards the country came together.
Now he's trying to put those memories onto something more permanent.
I think it's just a simple reflection and reminder of the catastrophe of 9/11 and how as a country we are able to stand back up and rebuild together.
Help us to remember not what we lost, but what we learned.
The signs on the tarp covering the monument Brian designed say never forget. But sometimes it's hard to remember that students like these Fairborn middle schoolers were only toddlers when the attacks took place.
It was a horrible thing that happened to America.
For them, it's not about remembering, but learning. And that's what those here in Fairborn hope this monument outside Calamityville will help with.
History has a way of repeating itself when you don't think about it anymore, and that's what we want to prevent from happening with our memorial.
The monument includes a beam from the World Trade Center, a silent witness to the events of that day. The base isn't finished yet, but will be a pentagon. It was designed by Corey Gayhart, who was only a kindergartner when the September 11th attacks happened.
I think it's important to recognize not just the Twin Towers, but the Pentagon as well.
But what many will walk away from the monument remembering most will be its words.
We shall keep the events and the tears in our minds, our memories, and our hearts, and take them with us as we carry on. It's neat how just a few words, a few small words can mean so much.
They also plan to add some paths to the monument and some places where you can sit and think about the events of that day. They hope to start those final phases within the next year. Reporting live, Jordan Burgess, 2 News.